Hello and welcome back to another episode of Wheels and Things. Today we're out for a drive and we're also going to talk about my recent timing belt service and most importantly whether I thought it was needed and whether I thought it had been completed before or if this was the very first time. The timing belt that I took off, and I'll throw some pictures up here, I do think the service was needed. If you compare the old timing belt to the new timing belt, the old one on the exterior was actually in pretty good condition. There were no cracks or any delamination or missing teeth or anything like that. However, the teeth on the timing belt were fairly worn. The top of each tooth had been worn down quite a bit. So I think it was actually quite a good thing that I did the timing belt when I did. So take a look at those pictures. Tell me what you think. You can leave a comment below letting me know if maybe you know something more than I do about timing belts and whether or not that one was in good condition or not. Looking at the water pump, there was nothing externally for me to think that the water pump actually needed replacing at the moment. Let me throw some sunglasses on. I'm going to get bright as I come out of the forest here. The water pump looked to be in good condition. No missing fins, no major wear of the fins or anything like that. So the water pump didn't seem like it probably needed replacing as much. The RTV looked like it was in good condition. Didn't see any leaks around the old water pump. However, I don't know the state of the internal bearing of the water pump. I mean, it spun freely. It spun with about the same amount of force as the new one that I put in. So just from that, I couldn't really tell if there was anything wrong with it or if it needed if it needed replacing at the moment. But looking at the timing belt, and again, comment below. Feel free to look at it yourself. Tell me what you think. I think the timing belt did need replacing. Now, the one thing that was interesting to me about the timing belt is that the one that I took off of the car was not the same brand or even made in the same country as the one that I put on the car. I think the one that I took off was made in Germany and the one that I put on was made in the UK. So that makes me think that either the supplier I bought my parts from lied to me and it was not the OE supplier that made the timing belt, or the timing belt that was on the car was not the original one and it had been replaced before. I've heard of people replacing their timing belts early on these cars just to be safe, so it totally could have been done before. It could have been done as recently as 150,000 miles. There were some other things in the engine bay that made me think that things had been taken apart before. But that could have been for something else too. Doesn't necessarily mean they got all the way down to the timing belt. Getting some good corners in here on the way down the hill. So overall, the timing belt service was a success. I've been driving this for 3 or 4 days now, and I haven't had any issues. As I may have mentioned before, the coolant level has dropped a little bit since I initially filled it, but that doesn't surprise me too much, as I'm sure there are some air bubbles that are getting worked out of the system, and so I expect to be topping it off for a little while. The vacuum tool held a really solid vacuum, so I really don't think there are any leaks in the system. I really just think that it's going to be a little while, a bit of driving before I get all the bubbles out of the radiator again after flushing the coolant. So I'm not too concerned there. I think that will resolve itself fairly quickly, especially with a good amount of driving being done. Well, that's really all I have today. Feel free to stick around as I finish up this drive. Not too much longer before I'll be back in the fields and not so much in the hills. But again, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for watching Wheels and Things, and have a great day.